Throwaway because my wife knows my main. I'm 35M, my wife Mara is 33F. We've been married 6 years, together 8. The first 4 were all movie nights and cheap wine and laughing at the same dumb memes. The last 2. It's like someone swapped my wife for an actress who only plays her in scenes. It started small. Mara began twirling her wedding ring when she talked, like a coin she might spend if the price was right. She'd talk about deadlines and trains that ran late and colleagues with names that tasted like air, Theo from media, Liv from brand, Kai from legal. If I asked who they were, she'd roll her eyes and go, "Babe, you don't need every character's backstory." Her phone became a second face, always turned away. New perfume appeared on a Tuesday, a free sample, chill. Gym twice a day, stress management. A silk robe I hadn't seen before, gift from a friend, don't make this weird. Every question from me was controlling. Every boundary from her was self-care. If I tried to reconnect, she'd snap, "Get a hobby, Evan. I'm not your entertainment center." Bitchy. Yeah. New tone, too, flat, efficient, like customer service that already decided I was the problem. Last night I cooked. She showed up 20 minutes late with a smile that never got past her lips. At dinner she spun that ring again and gave me the highlight reel, Project Crunch, trains, colleagues whose names could have been air freshener scents. I nodded and catalogued lies like receipts. Then her phone lit up on the table, just long enough for the preview to blink. Room 412, same view. You know how your body reacts before your brain does? Mine went quiet, no adrenaline, just this slow, cold settling. She flipped the phone face down like a magician covering a card. I said nothing and poured her more wine. "Don't start," she said immediately, smirking like she'd already won a fight I hadn't even entered. Work chat. Inside joke. You're being creepy. I didn't say anything, I told her. Exactly. She tilted her head. You never say things, you just vibrate. It's exhausting. Then she kissed the air between us like she was dispatching a fly and added, "If you trusted me, you wouldn't be so insecure." After dinner she made a production of cleaning up, humming. 10 minutes later, late call. Client crisis. She changed into an outfit that was too deliberate for a conference call and spritzed that new perfume, twice. When I raised an eyebrow, she said, "Video call, Evan. Cameras exist. Do you want me to look like a swamp witch?" Then she laughed at her own joke, grabbed her tote, and left. I pocketed my doubt like a folded receipt and followed the scent. It's pathetic, right? A grown man tailing his wife. But there I was, driving without music, hands dry on the wheel. She headed downtown and slid into the underground parking at the Harborcrest Hotel, like she'd rehearsed the route. I parked on the street and walked in through the front, past a painting of a ship leaving harbor, on the nose, I know, but it actually made my stomach drop. The lobby smelled like citrus and money. My heart was doing that weird skip thing, not racing, just tripping. I watched the elevators. A door slid open. Mara stepped out of the mirrored doors with her head down, texting. She didn't even glance at the lobby. She moved with intention, like she was clocking stage marks on a set she owned. I hung back, then got in the next elevator and hit 4. The hallway was carpeted hush. Room numbers glowed. I followed the faint ribbon of her perfume, the good one she only wears when she wants to be seen. 402, 406. 410. My feet felt too loud and too light at the same time. I stopped at 412. From inside, the muffled scrape of a chair. Low voices. A laugh I didn't recognize. I raised my hand to knock, then put it down. Because part of me wanted to wait, to see if she'd text me one more little lie, something I could keep and reread later like a bruise. Because part of me wanted to open the door and end this cleanly. Because part of me still hoped there was a version of this where I was wrong and an inside joke about room 412 existed in the wild. I took one breath. Then another. My hand went to the handle. I didn't knock. The handle turned under my palm like it had been waiting for me, and room 412 opened on a laugh I didn't recognize. Mara froze mid-smile, then pasted on another, slow, rehearsed, like she'd practiced in front of a mirror. You were never supposed to see the rehearsal, she said. For what? I asked. The exit, she answered. For us. There was a man behind her, half tucked into one of those hotel armchairs that are never actually comfortable. Expensive watch, no wedding ring, tan line where one should have been. He stood with polite, corporate hands. Kai, he said, like a name badge. You know how she used to toss Kai from legal into conversations like he was a rumor? Yeah. Flesh and cologne. Client prep, Mara added lightly, stepping between us. Roleplay for a pitch. You just violated a boundary and a couple NDAs. I looked past her. 2 glasses by the ice bucket, lipstick on one. Jacket draped on the bed's corner. Curtains open to a lit slice of harbor, same view as the framed postcard on the desk that read, "Welcome back." Next to it, a tiny hotel note card, M, 412, same view. K. I didn't need a detective kit. I just took out my phone, opened the camera, and took 3 slow pictures. Click. The glasses. Click. The postcard. Click. The note card with their initials winking like they were in on a joke I couldn't hear. Mara sighed in that world-weary way she's perfected. Wow, Evan. Stalker energy. You know that's illegal, right? Taking pictures of my wife in a room I pay for with a joint account. My voice came out calm. It surprised both of us. She snorted. Oh please. The joint account you check twice a day. This is exactly why I needed space. You smother everything. Kai tried on his arbitration voice. Evan, is it? We can de-escalate. There's a misunderstanding. Right on cue, sudden event number 1, a knock at the door. Room service, a cheerful voice called. Anniversary package for Ms. M. Mara launched across the room like a cat, cracked the door, hissed something I couldn't hear, and accepted a silver tray with chocolate-dipped strawberries and a half bottle of champagne in a little tuxedo. The card tucked into the ribbon had the same stupid initials, M plus K, same view. Unbelievable, I said. It's comped, she snapped, thrusting the tray onto the credenza. Loyalty thing. If you're going to spiral, at least spiral accurately. I held up my phone and started recording. The red dot felt like oxygen. Turn that off, she said, voice dropping to that sharp register that used to only come out in traffic. You don't get to narrate me. Tell me it's a roleplay again, I said. For the camera. Say, exit, one more time. She squared up, chin high. Fine. Exit. Because you suffocate. Because you think love is surveillance. Because you make me feel small and then act confused when I go looking for airflow. Kai stepped in like he could referee my marriage. Mara, let's take a breath. No, she barked, turning on him next. Do not. He does this, plays the wounded monk and then makes me the villain for wanting an actual life. My hands shook and the phone trembled with them. The minibar hummed. Outside, a fairy horn moaned. In the mirror above the desk, I looked like somebody who had aged 5 years in 10 minutes. Then her phone lit up on the nightstand. Another preview blinked. Liv, Brand he'll be gone by 11, promise. Same routine. Mara swiped it away so fast she almost knocked over the champagne. Work, she said. Brand strategy includes eviction notices now. I asked. You're embarrassing yourself, she said, with a tiny smile like she was tasting the words and liking the afterbite. If you hadn't followed me like a creep, we'd have had a conversation at home. Respectfully. Respectfully, I repeated, and laughed, and immediately hated the sound I made. She blew out a breath. Here's the adult version. I'm not happy. I haven't been for a long time. You're boring, Evan. Everything is a project with you, budgeting, cooking, even sex. Schedules. Lists. I need spontaneity. I need someone who sees me. You needed a hotel and a fake anniversary package, I said. It's not fake, she said, then rolled her eyes at herself. I mean, it's a work thing. Oh my God, do you need me to draw a diagram? Sudden event number 2, the room phone rang, loud enough to make all three of us jump. Mara grabbed it. Yes. No, it's fine, just a personal misunderstanding. Security. No, that's not necessary. Well, my husband is here and he's emotional. She flicked her eyes at me as she said emotional like it was a diagnosis. When she hung up, she added sweetly, they're sending someone to make sure everything's okay. Do you want to scream now or later? I haven't raised my voice, I said, and heard how quiet I was. Flat. Under glass. That's the problem, she said. You never raise it. You just vibrate. Kai, to his credit or cowardice, put his hands up. I can step out. You can rot, I snapped, and felt the first clean spark of anger. Don't talk to him like that, Mara said instantly, protective. He's being respectful. I looked at her. At the tray. At the note card on the desk that might as well have been engraved on my chest. I started a new recording and read the card aloud, just in case anyone ever argued about what was real, M+K, same view. She moved. I moved faster. The phone went into my pocket. She curled her lip. Cute. Evidence. Are you going to do your little spreadsheet next? Columns for tears and gasps. Another knock. Security this time. Sir. Ma'am. Is everything all right? Mara called out before I could answer, yes. My husband came uninvited. He's leaving. Your husband, I echoed. You mean me. She crossed her arms. You're not listening. You never listen. Tell them I'm your husband, I said, suddenly weirdly calm again. Say it. Why, so you can sue me for feelings? She gave the door a bright, brittle smile. We're fine. The security guard cracked the door anyway, professional face, hand on the frame. Evening. We had a noise complaint. No noise, I said. Just truth. He clocked my empty hands, Kai's guilty posture, Mara's ice. Sir, I'm going to ask you to step out so the registered guest can. Registered guests, plural, Mara cut in, too quick. The guard's eyebrow twitched. She regrouped. It's under my name. I could have argued. Fought. Stayed until they dragged me. Instead I pulled out my phone, took one last slow pan of the room, the tray, the bed, the jacket, my wife, and said, I'm going. Mara's mouth tilted. Finally. I paused at the door. One last question, I said. How long? She didn't blink. Long enough to know this isn't a mistake. 2 months, Kai murmured, uselessly. 3, Mara corrected, because even her lies want to be neat. The guard shifted. I stepped into the hallway. The door clicked shut behind me, soft as a period at the end of a sentence I didn't write. In the elevator, I stared at my reflection and didn't recognize the man looking back. My phone was hot in my hand. The videos were real. The card was real. The strawberries probably tasted like nothing. When the doors opened into the lobby, I walked past the ship painting and felt something heavy leave harbor inside me. Not relief. Not yet. Just motion, like grief had untied itself and started to drift. I sat in my car and hit play. I made myself watch. Then I texted the vids to a cloud folder and my sister, because I knew if I didn't do it now I'd talk myself out of overreacting later. The second I hit send, Mara's text arrived. Mara, do not post anything. If you humiliate me, I'll make this very ugly. Lawyer ugly. There it was, the real line read. I typed back, we'll talk tomorrow. Delete. Too polite. I'm done being quiet. Send. I didn't sleep. I sat in the car until the sky went gray, then drove home on autopilot. When I walked in, Mara was already at the kitchen island in her silk robe, hair in a perfect messy bun you can only get by trying. 2 mugs. One in front of her. One placed where I sit like we were a normal couple discussing weekend plans. She didn't look up. Ground rules, she said, scrolling. No yelling, no recording, and you will not use words like cheating or affair. That's defamation and I'm not playing with your victim narrative today. Morning to you too, I said, hanging my keys slower than necessary. She finally met my eyes and smiled the customer service smile. We are adults. If you'd communicated like one, you wouldn't have ambushed a rehearsal. Rehearsal for the exit, I said. You said that twice. She waved a hand. Metaphor. You took it literally. Classic. Then, briskly, last night was a roleplay for a pitch. Hotels feel authentic. Investors love detail. Kai is legal counsel, he supervises risk. We were preparing for a client who's, how do I say this, emotionally high maintenance. Sound familiar? Where do the strawberries fit into the client journey? I asked. God, you're so basic, she said, almost laughing. It was a comp loyalty program. Do I need to email you the terms? I set my phone on the counter and slid it toward her. The note card photo filled the screen, M+K, same view. Then I tapped to the video, her exit line, Kai's face, the tray in a tuxedo bow. She glanced for half a second and shrugged. Context matters. You filmed without consent. That's abusive, Evan. Abusive, I repeated. But your 3-month role play is self-care. She tilted her head. Oh my God, learn vocabulary. We've been emotionally open for months. We had that discussion after New Year's. We did not. You nodded, she said. That counts. I nodded because I was chewing, I said. Exactly. You were busy. I moved forward. Sudden event number 1, my phone buzzed. It was my sister. I didn't mean to hit speaker, but my thumb slipped. Evan. Anna's voice filled the kitchen. I saw your videos. Are you safe? Do I need to come get you? Mara didn't miss a beat. She plucked up the phone, toggled speaker off, and said sweet as syrup, Anna, we're fine. Evan is catastrophizing. Please don't insert yourself. Then she ended the call and slid the phone back with a smile so bright it hurt. Do not triangulate, she said. It's manipulative. You texted Liv, same routine, he'll be gone by 11, I said. That's triangulation, choreography, and a schedule. Liv's dramatic, she said. We talk in bits. You're cherry picking. Because there are cherries, I said. On a silver tray. She exhaled through her nose, teacherly. Let me try again in a way you can hear. I'm unhappy. You are controlled by lists and calendars and guilt. You check the joint account like a nervous metronome. You take photos of receipts. You label the leftovers with dates. Sex is a ritual you schedule and then treat like a chore. I needed oxygen, so. So you bought a second life. I rented it, she snapped. Temporarily. Sudden event number 2, the doorbell. She brightened. That'll be the drop. I opened the door to a courier holding a garment bag and a small suitcase with a neon tag, Mara, Harborcrest. He read from his screen. 2 items for Ms. M. Sign. My name was on the lease, on the utility bills, on the doormat. I signed anyway and carried them in like a stagehand. Mara sipped her coffee. Don't glare. I had them send my things from the hotel so you wouldn't accuse me of sneaking. Transparency. Your exit is moving in this morning? I asked. Trial separation, she corrected. Adultly. We can do a nesting schedule. I'll take the apartment this week, you get it next. Or vice versa. We'll talk to HR about a mediation grant, they have a program. Your HR funds divorces? I asked. Don't be provincial, she said. We invest in outcomes. Sudden event number 3, her phone lit up. Kai. She swiped and went immediately to speaker because performance is her native language. Kai, hey, she sang. Yes, we're aligning. He's being emotional, but I'm doing the compassionate boundary thing. Morning, Evan, Kai said, like a Labrador who passed the bar. Apologies for last night's optics. Happy to clarify for any third parties that no misconduct occurred. Third parties like my spine? I said. Like counsel, he said, missing the point on purpose. Also, we've got the 11:30 crisis comms with Brand. Same room as usual. Same view, I said. He flinched through the phone. I ended the call for her. Mara rolled her eyes. Rude. You are going back, I said. To work, she said. To heal. We will do a couples therapist, but not one of your spreadsheet monks who asks us to name 5 feelings. And I'm not pausing my life while you excavate yours. Therapy and an open marriage isn't a compromise, I said. It's a sentence. She gave me that thin smile. Then plead guilty to boring and accept probation. She stood and started zipping the garment bag. Silk whispered. The suitcase wheels clicked. She moved like a person who'd rehearsed this scene so many times the beats lived in her bones. Where were you going to tell me? I asked. At dinner, she said. But then you did the face. What face? The one where you look like a damp newspaper, she said. It makes me tired. Sudden event number 4, my phone pinged with a bank alert, $3,000 ATM withdrawal. I stared at it. She didn't look up. I needed cash to avoid your forensic budgeting, she said. I'll reimburse half when you're less dramatic. Half of what you took? I asked. Half of what we shared, she said. Language matters. And the anniversary package? I asked. What is the language for that? Brand activation, she said. If you knew my world you'd understand. I opened the Notes app and wrote 3 lines, hotel. 412, 3 months. I've learned I need to write things down when someone's rewriting them out loud. Okay, I said finally. Here's my language. You cheated. You lied. You threatened to lawyer up if I humiliate you, but you've been choreographing my humiliation for months. I'm not agreeing to open anything. I'm not agreeing to a nesting schedule you designed with your boyfriend. I am agreeing to one thing, we're done. She shrugged, practiced nonchalance cracking just a hair around the eyes. Then we're done. Thank you for finally articulating. She wheeled the suitcase to the door, then paused, turned, and added with a bright, mean little glint, also, I told HR you might retaliate. So if you decide to go feral online, understand it won't land how you think. Narrative matters. You already wrote yours, I said. That's called strategy, she said, and blew me a kiss like a dart. She left. The door clicked behind her with the same polite little sound as room 412. I stood there in the quiet kitchen, 2 mugs cooling, the garment bag's empty hanger spinning slowly like a compass that had lost north. My hands were steady now. My heartbeat wasn't. I opened a new note and typed another line for future Evan who forgets when people speak confidently. She said, it wasn't a mistake. She corrected Kai, 3 months. Then I sat on the floor by the dishwasher and let the first wave finally hit. I sat on the kitchen floor until the tile imprinted a grid into my skin. The house sounded newly mechanical, fridge hum, baseboard click, the slow spin of the empty hanger I'd watched turn like a broken compass. Shock isn't a bang, it's a dimmer switch sliding down. Then my body remembered how to be a body and did all the things at once, hands shaking, teeth chattering, heart thudding like a bad neighbor upstairs. I breathed into a kitchen towel because the air felt too sharp. I texted my sister, alive. Not okay. Anna wrote back instantly, I'm bringing food. Don't argue. Sudden event number 1, before she arrived, an email hit my inbox, support resources plus expectations, from Mara's HR. It CC'd me on healthy separation practices, reminded me that harassment or public shaming will be documented, and attached a PDF titled Narrative De-escalation. There was a cheery footer with a sailboat icon. I laughed out loud, then felt nauseous. The timing was so clean you could eat off of it. Mara texted right after, because of course she did. Mara, saw HR looped you in so you don't spin. Please refrain from weaponizing social media or extended family. Be an adult. Mara, also, I'll be by at 6 to pick up my espresso machine and the Dutch oven. Don't make this weird. Mara, if you're in a constructive mood, draft a joint statement. Something like, we love each other and are taking time to grow separately. I put the phone face down and let it buzz. Anna arrived with bagels, electrolyte packets, and that big sister gaze that sees the weather inside your skull. I slid the phone across the counter. She watched 5 seconds of the hotel video, then turned it off and squeezed the back of my neck like she was reattaching me to earth. Okay, she said. We're doing triage. Eat half a bagel. Drink this. Then, call a lawyer for a consult. Then, change your pins and freeze the joint card. I don't want to be vindictive, I said. It's not vindictive, she said. It's adult oxygen. We made a list, my language, and that alone calmed something in me. Shock softened into anger in clean little pulses. I dialed a lawyer a friend once mentioned, expecting voicemail. Sudden event number 2, she picked up. I have 20 minutes between hearings, she said. Talk. I told her the hotel, the texts, the 3 months. I told her about the HR email with the sailboat. She said the sentence I needed, you're not crazy. Then she gave me homework. Asterisk screenshot everything. Back it up twice. Asterisk stop arguing over text, do logistics only, in writing. Asterisk move half the joint cash to a new account in your name. That's not theft, it's preserving marital assets. Asterisk book STI testing, not a character judgment, a health step. Asterisk if she shows up volatile, call a friend to be present or leave. I wrote it down. It felt like learning to walk on a ship in chop, awkward, necessary. Sudden event number 3, a DM from a coworker of hers I barely know, Theo, a name that used to taste like air. Not my circus, but I'm sorry. People talk. This wasn't just a one-off. He attached a screenshot of a group chat where same view had become a joke shorthand. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I felt clarity. Like the light in an office flicked all the way on and the dust was obvious. I went for a walk to get out of my own head and accidentally passed the harbor crest. I didn't go in. I stood across the street and watched a bellhop polish the brass. I thought of the painting of the ship leaving harbor and realized I wasn't the ship, I was the shore being left, still and solid and taken for granted. Back home, I did the boring, heroic things, laundry, trash, dishes. I changed my banking passwords with my hands shaking like I'd had 6 espressos. I made an appointment with my GP for testing and another with a therapist who had a same-day telehealth slot, entire world on fire, at least there's Zoom. When the therapist asked me to name what I felt in my body, I said, static. She said, that's shock. When she asked about anger, I told her it tasted like pennies. When she asked about grief, I told her it felt like being underwater looking up at my old life through chlorinated blue. Mara, meanwhile, curated the narrative like it was a campaign. Sudden event number 4, she posted an Instagram story, muted colors, latte art, a caption, workshops with the best humans. Feeling grateful for growth. The geotag glitched for a second and flashed Harborcrest Hotel before switching to downtown offices. I screen recorded, then tossed my phone on the couch like it had bitten me. Anna found me doing dishes I'd already done twice. You're at the "if I keep moving I won't collapse" stage, she said, drying a bowl. Eat a real thing. Sit down. I did. Anger wore itself out and something heavier sat beside me. Humiliation came on like a fever, memories replayed with director's commentary, the fake late trains, the ring twirling, the "get a hobby" jab. I wanted to catalog each lie and pin it to a board and make it make sense. But the therapist's voice was in my head, sense-making isn't healing. Boundaries are healing. So I wrote to future Evan. Asterisk, you didn't cause this. Asterisk, you were not boring, you were steady. Asterisk, people who choreograph exits don't trip, they perform. Asterisk, do not negotiate with a story that requires you to disappear. At 6:03, Mara's key clicked. She breezed in with a tote bag and a coil of cables, black sunglasses inside. The bitchy brightness was fully charged. See, she chirped. No drama. Just retrieval. Proud of you. She unplugged the espresso machine like she was disengaging from life support, then pointed at a plant. Fiddle leaf fig is mine. I nursed it back from death while you were meal prepping feelings. Take the plant, I said. She clocked my calm and tilted her head. Therapy already? Cute. You always do your homework when a woman assigns it. Then she pointed at the Dutch oven. Lift that, would you? My wrist. I'm not loading your getaway car, I said. Curbside's fine. Her smile got thin. Do not make me escalate. You know I can. I know, I said. That's why I'm not arguing. She studied me like a puzzle she'd expected to be easier. We'll talk terms, she said finally. Don't embarrass yourself by going nuclear. You already did, I said, before I could stop it. She flinched a millimeter, then recovered. Narrative matters, she said, the way someone reminds you of a curfew. She left with the plant bumping her hip like a green metronome. After the door clicked shut, sadness arrived properly. Not loud, not operatic, just a steady rain inside the bones. I walked into our bedroom and stopped at the doorway like it was a crime scene. Her hair tie on the nightstand. The dent in the pillow you don't notice until it isn't yours. I moved to the guest room because the bed we bought together suddenly felt like a story her body had been telling to someone else. I thought about texting Mara a paragraph that started with "Do you remember when," and ended with "We could fix this if." Then I remembered her exact line in the hallway, long enough to know this isn't a mistake. I put my phone face down and went to brush my teeth instead. Small victory, I slept for 2 hours. Woke up at 3 a.m., to a bank alert, $180 room service, Harborcrest, and didn't spiral. I just forwarded it to the evidence folder and wrote a single line in notes for future Evan, she is still choosing elsewhere. Shock, anger, humiliation, sadness. Somewhere beyond sadness was a shape I recognized but hadn't touched yet: acceptance. I wasn't ready to shake its hand, but I could see it in the doorway, patient. Tomorrow I'll file the separation paperwork. Tonight I'm going to write a list for morning, call the lawyer back, box the things that are mine, ask the super about changing the mailbox lock, pick up protein and bananas because my body is not a metaphor, it's just hungry. Advice to anyone reading this far: eat. Screenshot. Breathe. Shock lies. Lists don't. I'll post the final part after I sign the first document. I woke up with the kind of headache that starts behind your eyes and files paperwork on your behalf. I made coffee in the suddenly quiet kitchen and opened the lawyer's email. DocuSign link. My name spelled right. The words petition for legal separation looked unreal until I clicked every box and typed my signature. That's the moment the world made a tiny clunk from before to after. Then I did the boring hero work. Asterisk moved half the joint cash to a new account in my name, per counsel. Asterisk froze the joint card and opened my own. Asterisk booked STI testing for Thursday. Asterisk wrote a logistics only template text for future me, pickup window. 5 to 6. Leave key on hook. No discussion. Asterisk asked the super to change the mailbox lock, not the door. I'm not giving her a legal angle. Asterisk ordered a cheap coffee maker because she took the fancy one and I still like mornings. Sudden event number 1, HR called, bright voices, sailboats in the email signature. We'd love to facilitate a restorative conversation, they said, like they were offering me a fruit tray. I said, please direct all requests to my counsel, and the brightness dimmed like someone turned down a dimmer. They reminded me, narrative online harms careers. I reminded them I have not posted and will not, and that the video evidence exists whether or not anyone is harmed by it. Sudden event number 2, Mara texted a proposal sheet like she was negotiating ad rates. Mara, let's be civil. Joint statement, we love each other but are growing separately. Mutual NDA about details. You acknowledge control issues, I acknowledge communication gaps. We keep friends out of it. We rotate the apartment weekly. I'll keep Harborcrest for work deliverables. I replied with my new template, logistics only. Pickup window today 4 to 5. No discussion. Then I added, we are not issuing a statement. Counsel will contact you. She shot back instantly, LOL, counsel. You love outsourcing emotions. 5 minutes later, fine. I'll be there at 4. Don't make it a scene. I have a 5:30. Sudden event number 3, an unknown number texted me. This is Lena. I used to be with Kai. If this is out of bounds, I'll stop. But you're not crazy. Same view, is a thing with him. There was a photo attached, last year's Christmas at the Harborcrest. The same room number peeking from a key sleeve. I didn't feel vengeance. I felt relief. The story was smaller than the monster in my head. Recycled lines and rented rooms. At 3:50 I moved the espresso pod she forgot into a grocery bag and put her stuff by the door. When she arrived at 4:12, of course, she wore sunglasses indoors because her eyes tell the truth too quickly. She looked around the apartment like a realtor. Okay, she said, brisk. Here's my structure. We do 2 months of trial separation. We don't turn this into PR. You stop telling your sister because she's inflammatory. We go to Dr. Heller on Tuesdays. I keep my Harborcrest membership for work. And we. No, I said, not loud. Just a new shape of my voice. We're not doing your structure. I signed the separation. My lawyer will email yours. We split, we sell, we're done. Her smile did that small crack like last time. So dramatic. It's not drama, I said. It's a boundary. She eyed the grocery bag. Petty, she said, but her hands were shaking when she took it. She glanced at the kitchen counter, at the empty espresso machine space, and then at me. For a second, the performance slipped and I saw the person I married, tired, human, scared. Then she fixed it. Try not to embarrass yourself, she said. Narrative matters. You keep saying that, I said. Here's mine, you rehearsed an exit so long you forgot there'd be a door on the other side. She did a little laugh, like a cough. You'll be boring with someone else, she said, on her way out. I'll be steady, I said. With someone who doesn't need a lobby to feel real. When the door clicked, it didn't feel like room 412. It felt like a door in my own house doing its job. I ate real food. I drank water like it was a practice. I went to the gym and did 20 slow minutes on a treadmill because rage needs somewhere to burn that isn't your throat. I made a playlist called Aftermath and put dumb dance tracks on it because sadness doesn't own the entire day. I booked a storage unit and started boxing our life into mine and not mine. In the guest room, I slept like a person who'd been given back the right to breathe. Acceptance isn't triumphant. It's paperwork and small brave choices. It's telling the truth even when nobody's clapping. It's deleting drafts you wrote to the wrong audience. Conclusion/advice to anyone reading this. Asterisk if your gut whispers, don't shush it with politeness. Take notes. Screenshots are not revenge, they're memory. Asterisk shock will try to convince you to negotiate reality. Don't. Make a list, do the next boring thing. Asterisk people who plan an exit will always call your reaction a scene. Learn to be calm and still leave. Asterisk loop in one person who loves you without an agenda. Eat. Sleep. Move your body. Asterisk get legal advice early, not to go nuclear, but to stop bleeding quietly. Asterisk you can't fix a story that requires you to disappear. Write a new one where you exist. I'm filing the rest of the paperwork this week. I'm not going to post the videos, not because she deserves my silence, but because I deserve my peace. If you're where I was, you're not boring. You're steady. Steady is how you swim to shore.